Here's a change of pace question. Which Bible should I use? Well, which Bible should you use? That's an important question. There are many, many different English translations and paraphrases of the Bible, more than you probably think. Which one you choose is important. If you're a skeptic, you might not own a Bible, but you really should. You see, the Bible is the most unique book in the world. It's been published more than any other book. Actually, it's not included on bestseller lists because it would always be number one. Every year, every single year, over 20 million Bibles are sold in the U.S. That's over 50,000 a day. The Bible's been translated into more languages, been more widely distributed, and positively changed more lives than any other book ever printed. And I've read that one Bible app has been downloaded more than 100 million times, and more than 66,000 people are using some Bible app at any given second. And the Bible is unique in that it presents itself as God's message to us, not just a book about God, but a book from God. Not just inspiring, but actually inspired, meaning God-breathed. It could be said that the Bible is not just a book, but it's the book. Wouldn't you have to say that it would be presumptuous to ignore such a book or to reject it without spending time in it? But which of the many translations and paraphrases should you use? Well, over the past decades in the West, somewhat casual Bible reading has overtaken study of the Bible. Paralleling that, there's been a move toward versions of the Bible that tell us more what it means rather than just presenting what it says. That's seen in the popularity of two types of Bibles. They're called dynamic equivalents and paraphrases. Their popularity parallels other cultural shifts. Here's a fun shift. In today's fast-paced life, we want prepackaged, easy-to-consume meals. We want the meals delivered to us, or we pick them up at the market all prepared and ready to heat, preferably in a microwave. Or we have meal kits delivered to our homes. All of that is okay. But we shouldn't approach the Bible in that same way. Our lives and tastes have changed, but God's Word has not changed. Let me explain. Dynamic equivalents are thought-for-thought translations focusing on what the words mean more than simply what the words say. The NIV, that's the New International Version, is a very popular dynamic equivalent. And paraphrases are almost idea-by-idea rewordings into modern language. Many people today prefer that kind of pre-processed Bible to the pure milk and raw meat of the Word. The New Living Translation, a modern language translation, and the extremely loose paraphrase, The Message, fit into this less accurate, easier to read category. Every translation from the original languages requires translators to decide what the original words, phrases, and sentences actually say, and how to best say that in our language. However, dynamic equivalents and paraphrases can go beyond that to what the translators decide that the texts mean, and they transpose that into our societal language and tastes. However, our society and language are no surprise to God. His word does not need to be squeezed into our times. Psalm 12:6 states it well. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace, refined 7 times. You see, God's word is already refined. It does not need to be refined. His word is timeless, eternal, and accurate to the finest detail. Word-for-word translations are the closest we have to that. Examples of word-for-word translations would include the New American Standard Bible, often called the NASB, New American Standard Bible, and also the English Standard Version, the ESV, and you'd have to include the original or the New King James. Studying a paraphrase or a modern language reworded Bible is like flying over a mountain range in a small plane, blurring or missing many of the details of the scene below. Studying a dynamic equivalent is more like a fast, all-terrain vehicle drive through the mountains with a guidebook telling us what we are really seeing, in some cases minimizing significant detail and eliminating personal discovery. However, studying a word-for-word translation is more like a lifelong hike through the mountains, visually, physically, and emotionally drinking in every detail. If you seriously want to read and experience the Bible, choose a good word-for-word translation. Choosing a dynamic equivalent or a paraphrase may make reading easier, but you'll miss out on much of the detail, depth, grace, and grandeur of God's Word. The meanings of Bible phrases and thoughts need to be understood. However, we shouldn't sacrifice the details for the sake of easier reading or superficial study. More than the others, word-for-word translations give us the important details of God's Word. However, if someone is young or somewhat reading challenged, the lower reading grade levels of dynamic equivalents and paraphrases can really help. For me, I use all three types of Bibles. I even have one New Testament that weaves 26 versions into one. And I use a Bible app almost every day. However, it's invaluable to me to have a good printed main Bible. I have a single column, room for my notes, a single column New American Standard Bible. It's a solid word-for-word translation. And it's become like an old friend, familiar, comfortable, and trustworthy. No digital copy can do that for me. Invest in one of high quality. Mark it up. Wear it out. But I can tell you, be prepared, because when it starts falling apart and you have got to replace it, it will be traumatic. I'm John Morris. I'll see you on the next Just a Question.